What if the image you have of your ancient European ancestors is completely wrong? Forget the fair-skinned, fair-haired figures you see in paintings and movies. Journey back with us 9,000 years to a Europe that was a vast, untamed wilderness. Here, roaming the dense forests and open plains, were a people whose appearance would surprise you. Genetic analysis of their ancient remains tells a startling story. These original hunter-gatherers had dark, sun-kissed skin and, incredibly, piercing blue eyes. They were the true first Europeans, a population perfectly adapted to a life on the move, chasing herds and gathering the bounty of the land. For thousands of years, they were the undisputed masters of the continent. Their story, however, was not destined to last. A change was coming, a revolution that would reshape Europe's destiny and its very DNA. Around 6,000 years ago, a new wave of people began to arrive. They didn't come from the north or the west, but from the sun-drenched lands of the Near East and Anatolia in modern-day Turkey. These were not hunter-gatherers, they were pioneers of a radical new technology, agriculture. They brought with them domesticated animals, seeds for crops like wheat and barley, and a completely different way of life. Instead of chasing their food, they grew it. They built permanent settlements, created pottery, and developed new social structures. This wasn't a small migration, it was a tidal wave of humanity that swept across Europe from the southeast to the northwest. Genetic evidence shows that these incoming farmers didn't just share their technology. They replaced the existing hunter-gatherer populations in many regions. The dark-skinned, blue-eyed people who had roamed Europe for millennia began to fade, their genetic signature absorbed and overwhelmed by the newcomers. The continent's face was changing. Lighter skin and adaptation better suited for absorbing vitamin D in the less sunny climates of agricultural latitudes became more common. The genetic tapestry of Europe was being rewoven, thread by thread, with each new farming village that was established. But these farmers brought more than just new genes and new food. They brought new ideas, new beliefs, and a new way of honoring the cosmos and their dead. And this brings us to a place of immense power and mystery on the east coast of Ireland, Newgrange. Built over 5,200 years ago, this is not just a tomb. It's a colossal megalithic monument, a masterpiece of Neolithic engineering. It's older than Stonehenge, older than the Great Pyramids of Giza. A massive circular mound of earth and stone covering an area of over an acre, its entrance is marked by a huge, intricately carved curved stone. But its true secret lies within. A long, narrow passage leads to a central chamber with a high, corbelled roof that has remained watertight for over 5 millennia. This structure was built with breathtaking precision. For just a few days around the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, the rising sun shines directly through a special opening above the entrance, illuminating the passage and flooding the central chamber with golden light. It was a cathedral built not for a god in the sky, but for the sun itself, a symbol of rebirth and the promise of new life. For centuries, Newgrange was considered a resting place for the legendary kings of ancient Ireland, a sacred space for the most important members of society. Archaeologists knew it was a tomb, but they could only guess at the status of those buried within its hallowed chamber. Who were these people, capable of commanding the labor and loyalty needed to construct such a monument? What kind of society did they rule? The answers remained locked in the stones until now. This is where our story takes a modern turn with a young, brilliant geneticist named Lara Cassidy from Trinity College, Dublin. She and her team were given access to the skeletal remains of a man who had been laid to rest in the most sacred part of Newgrange, the central chamber, over 5,000 years ago. Using cutting-edge technology, Cassidy's team painstakingly extracted and sequenced the man's entire genome. What they found was not just surprising, it was a bombshell that sent shockwaves through the worlds of archaeology and genetics. The man buried in this place of honor, this temple to the sun, had a shocking secret written in his DNA. He was the product of a first-degree incestuous union. His parents were either brother and sister, or a parent and their child. In nearly every human culture, this is a profound taboo. So why was a man from such a union given the highest possible honor, a burial in a place that connected the earth to the heavens? The discovery provided a stunningly clear answer. In ancient societies, from the Egyptian pharaohs to the Incan emperors, royal incest was a common practice. It was a way to concentrate power, to keep the bloodline pure, and to elevate the ruling family to a status far above ordinary people, making them living gods. The man in Newgrange wasn't just a chief or a nobleman. The genetic evidence strongly suggests he was part of a dynastic ruling elite, a royal family that considered themselves so divine, so separate from everyone else, that they were exempt from the ultimate human taboo. This single genetic finding transformed our understanding of Neolithic Europe. These were not simple, egalitarian farming communities. This was a society with a powerful, hierarchical structure, ruled by a hereditary elite who saw themselves as gods on Earth. Newgrange wasn't just a tomb, it was a dynastic mausoleum, a testament to the power of a single family that ruled for generations. So, what does this all mean for us today? It means the story of Europe is far more complex and dramatic than we ever imagined. It's a story of multiple, distinct peoples and massive migrations that completely reshaped the continent. First, the dark-skinned, blue-eyed hunter-gatherers. Then, the Anatolian farmers who brought agriculture and built incredible monuments like Newgrange, ruled by divine kings. And later, a third major migration from the Pontic-Caspian steppe, the Yamnaya people who brought horse riding, metal working, and Indo-European languages. Your own DNA is a living history book containing chapters from all of these ancient peoples. Most modern Europeans are a genetic cocktail of these three ancestral groups. A person from Sardinia might have a huge proportion of their ancestry from the Neolithic farmers, while someone from Lithuania might have a stronger genetic echo of the original hunter-gatherers. The genetic legacy of the steppe riders is strongest in Northern Europe. We are all walking mosaics carrying the epic story of ancient migrations, conflicts, and revolutions within every cell of our bodies. The secrets of our past are not just buried under stone. They are encoded in our genes, waiting for science to reveal them. And as we continue to unlock these genetic codes, who knows what other astonishing truths we will discover about who we are and where we truly come from. If Cassidy's discovery intrigued you, imagine what other secrets may lie beneath our feet, waiting for science to unearth them. Subscribe to Sci Discovery Chronicles, like this video, and share your thoughts below. Was this farmer both sign and symbol? What does their story tell us about human nature? Keep questioning. Keep digging. The past is waiting.